ठीक है, I've pressed. ठीक है, तो we're gonna discuss why we became filmmakers and we'll just walk around all that goes in our head. ठीक है,
Okay, okay, sure. Yeah.
we'll begin with Arvind.
Oh my God. Dude, I seriously, dude, this feels like school. This feels like primary school.
The one who comes late,
Okay, yeah.
I'll go first. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the thing is, no, I was interested in photography at an early age, like 11 or 12.
Hmm.
So
Arvind,
just,
can you pull
like
up your
that,
microphone, sort of?
Sure, sure. Yeah,
Ah.
so I just got interested in photography at when I was in my teens, when I'm 12 or 13. So
12.
at that time, yeah, like every, it just kind of evolved, because you just kind of recognize different forms of photography, and you just discover cinematography, because it's a moving form of photography. So you just discover that, then you discover, you just look at these credits and think, what is screenplay and things like that, and then you kind of get to know about that, and then it's just it just evolves, and it just stopped at this at filmmaking.
Around 6th, 7th, you sort of were sure ki you want to get into films?
No, not about like getting into films. I had like an interest for I just shoot a
Oh
lot
yeah,
of
yeah.
stuff.
अच्छा.
I was just Nokia Express Music camera and all.
क्या बात है, dude? This
Crazy amount of photos.
some Coen
So
Brothers.
yeah, I think no, not like
You
that.
wish, yeah.
But yeah, I think I know, like how it started was that there's these Star movies, and they just repeatedly put Jaws every time. Like, so I was really, I really saw that the dolly zoom thing, right? That vertigo zoom,
Ah.
that reaction shot, and I just thought, like, how did they create this? And then I was kind of searching about it, and then I kind of figured out, like with these rolling chairs, like the dolly pushes and you just zoom out like this. Like the contrasting movement is what creates this dolly zoom thing. So yeah, I think it started with that dolly zoom thing. So yeah, that kind of piqued my interest in cinematography. And then it evolved.
I knew you would start with visual because I've seen his first short film,
Yeah.
which is very visual.
That is I made it when I was 19, so spare me the judgment.
Bhai, Arvind सबसे sorted up. I don't know when did you actually sort of had this thing कि हाँ नहीं I should become a filmmaker. When did this epiphany kind of euphoria or something happen?
Me, are asking me?
Yeah, you like.
Yeah, I mean, like, see, like, still, I'm not that sure about, like, I need to make films or something, right? But I still want to, write screenplays, and I just want to pitch them and things like that. So it's not about, like, it's not like any facet I'd like to be involved in. So it's not like I need to only make films or something like that. But still, it's just it's like the destination, but I'm just taking, like I'm just taking a lot of diversion and things like that.
Yeah.
So,
But
yeah.
eventually you wanna make your own films, right?
Yeah. Like, like
To
that's why I'm working, bro. I can't. Yeah, totally.
तो शर्मा क्यों रहा है? I think you're going to become a
like,
director. Why you like कि नहीं यार life में देखेंगे and this.
Yeah, I mean, like, just move on, bro.
You can no pressure.
Kavi, please share your short film with me whenever you.
No, bro, you don't miss it. Please.
No, please, dear Kavi. I'll love to watch it. Seriously, I'm not kidding.
Bro, I shot it on a mobile with 20 rupees for pocket change. That's it.
But dude,
it was that simple stuff.
Impactful. Like मैंने देखा भाई ये तो storyboarding बहुत अच्छा करके बनाया. Like you can see how Arvind's mind works in his film. Anybody who has a doubt कि whether I should hire this guy as an assistant AD or something because he's not have had prior experience will hire him. That's what I think, because I've seen a lot of amateur stuff, but Arvind has some thing in his mind. He thinks visually. अबे रुकना, मेरे को तारीफ करने दे, तू accept मत कर गधे.
Yeah, I mean,
It'll be a shitstorm after this.
Actually, did you see? I saw Akshay's film, and like, Hrithik, what are your thoughts? I haven't heard it.
Let's not divert. Let's skip it here.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Sure. Let's
Yeah.
get it later.
Yeah.
Arvind, how old are you right now?
24.
अबे साले बच्चा है तू तो ठीक है अब of course you gotta say stuff like I'm taking my time and stuff but yeah it's really cool like there are you
Yeah,
wanna debut
see,
with
I
it.
mean, the thing is, like, what I feel is that, like age kind of, it plays a role in your stories
man.
and in your perspective.
Yeah.
Because I see young people like 21-year-olds make a feature film, and then their politics will be picked after, like yeah, there'll be very flawed politics, or there'll be kind of flawed portrayals and things like that.
Yeah,
So I think let me get myself off the conditioning and things like that.
Life
And then
experience
yeah. I think I can't make a film with my predefined notions and things like that. The preconceived notions.
They're looking forward to your debut, man. काफी well aware debut होने वाला है तेरा.
I see. I think you will be making this year, I guess.
Sure. Let's talk about Ritik. ठीक है, Arvind, age 24, is gonna make his debut within 6 years, which I'm very sure about.
Yeah, it'll be great to see Arvind's first film, and we'll remember the Mommy Issues podcast.
and Arvind, I think you're already working on a post production of your short film, right? Which you shot this year.
Yeah. I've actually, like I finished shooting. Now it's in the. I just sent the footage to an editor. Let's see how.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I think I mean, like right now, with the pandemic, nobody's willing to edit for free. So it's really taking. So that is what. I think I should learn editing. I think like Akshay, I should learn editing and do this.
हाँ यार, because.
So Akshay, Ritik, please.
So my thing about film. So I've always been inclined towards art in general since childhood. I mean, I was into sketching, drawing, caricatures. I started playing the keyboard very young. I think third, second or third. So films, and I used to read. I started reading early also. So I really loved any form of storytelling that can be in the form of films or books or music, and I was never good at studies. I was suffered a lot, and my big issue when I studied was that I used to formulate my own answers, which doesn't work, right? You can't formulate your own answers in science. But I was so interested in language and words and how stories go. So I had a big problem in history and other subjects, and English was the only thing I liked because it had stories, and I was always good at it, but better than some of my friends. And I remember I used to even have slightly different view of anything we watched. So I wasn't among the, I didn't think about like my other friends. And I remember watching Dark Knight when I was in 5th standard, 2008, right? Yeah. So I saw that film and nobody liked among my age group. They all felt it's not superheroish, it's not exciting. You know how we had. But I really was interested in this matured. I did not know what is matured, but I thought it's a matured film, and I was really interested in how Joker was created. So these things kind of added up, and I started learning the piano, and I started learning sketching more. So these things I was developing, but I got into the exact how CBSE and how school system works in that entire machinery where it became like these are your hobbies, keep them aside and focus on your career. And I tried very hard. I tried to memorize. I tried to understand, and I worked very hard, but never resulted in anything except in English, because again it was about stories. So I started watching films. I used to watch Spielberg that time. I was I think around 11, 12. No, not even before that. I was say 14, 15, 13-year-old. I used to watch Spielberg. I used to watch some Ray with my parents, or a little bit Nolan. So at that time, so, and I really liked their films. I did not like the mainstream Bollywood films which came in the theaters. And I used to search on IMDb and Book My Show, and where are these unknown films playing. So, but it all got suddenly suppressed in 11th, 12th when I got into commerce, and that also I made the decision because I saw a show. I saw Suits, and I figured, okay, investment banking looks very interesting, and I should get into investment banking. And it really affected my personality. I could never stand up for myself. I'm not a very open person, and I don't want to share much. I don't share with people, but stories and films have become a medium for me to do so. And I think the exact moment I remember when I wanted to become a filmmaker was when I saw Pulp Fiction when I was in 11th. You know,
Oh,
and yeah, I did not know anything about the film. I did not know that there's this director Tarantino, or the cult figure he is, or the film's popularity. I had it on my laptop, and I just played it, and I was just amazed to see that how is this possible? I have never seen anything like that, and I started really. And my aim wasn't to become a director. My aim was to become Tarantino. I wanted to be what Quentin Tarantino is. I did not
Yeah,
know what a
half,
director
I
was.
think half the Indian cinema's ambition is to become that.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, absolutely. So, and I even remember speaking to my mother once. What if I get into films? And it was all a big shock. Focus on commerce, but it stayed with me. His films, and I started watching some foreign cinema. I watched Separation. I watched, popular foreign films, and when I was in 12th, and I really liked that. I like to read about those films, and I truly cultivated that dream when I was, when I started studying in my university, and because I had taken English literature, my plan to do commerce had failed, bombed miserably. But I started doing English, and there I started to research. We could write papers, and I was the only one among the class to write a paper on a
One second.
screenplay. Yeah.
One second, yes, one second.
you continue.
Okay. So I started writing papers on screenplays, on narrative techniques, while my friends would write on very basic college research papers, themes and all. But I used to really research. I read Maus, and I studied German history. I read Abul Tabul by Kumar Roy, and I wrote a paper on that. And I really loved how storytelling goes, how satire can be used, and how, for example, Abul Tabul is a children's poetry collection, but it's actually it's actually a criticism of the British censorship and the Babu Raj, as it goes. And same with Mouse. And I again wrote a paper on Pulp Fiction, and I wrote a paper on Dark Knight, the comic.
During
Not Dark Knight, the
college, right?
college. Yeah. During college, I wrote a paper on how characters, how the Batman and Joker represents the two sides of justice. I read about Plato, I read about Aristotle, I read
Oh.
about justice system, John Rawls, and I made my effort, and it was an unconscious effort. I really loved it, so I did that. And I got a job at Cinemaholic, which is a film publishing company, website. It's not that highly rated now, but back then it was quite good. There were new interesting articles, and it was a good way for me to get into watching more films. So I saw more foreign films. I discovered Bergman, I discovered Tarkovsky a little bit, I discovered Kiarostami a bit. So I watched their films. And that began an opportunity to really read about cinema, and I started writing on cinema. I started writing my own scripts. So that's how, and that was, say, I think 3 years back. I graduated. So then I realized that I really want to, and there was an immense passion I had about cinema, especially cinema, because I think we live in a society where we don't get to
Express.
express our emotions, and there has to be archetypal figure we have to develop into Indian society, who is very confident, who is a hardworking student, the topper, and anything aside that is a problem.
Not the guy.
But
Yeah.
cinema, yeah, but cinema became that opportunity for me to learn about things and to express emotions and express ideas. So even now, I don't. When I talk to somebody, I can't talk to that person. I'm introverted. But when it comes to cinema, I suddenly get I'm interested, and I've noticed that I can even understand the person's worldview and his personality through cinema. That person views cinema. So yeah, so that is it. I think I've covered.
सही है, काफी सही है भाई ये तो.
But I knew I wanted to be into art, and still, even now, I want to be a filmmaker, but I also want to publish a book, write a play, and maybe get into jazz and release albums and all in the future sometime. So yeah, so art is the way to go for me.
No, I think jazz is like such a. I don't know. I feel really sad for jazz because people say jazz is dead, but all the jazz I heard was in this very posh toilets at the malls. No one even cares
Yeah,
for
yeah.
jazz at that place. Why
Yeah,
keep such beautiful music at that place?
But I don't think we actually have an access to where jazz is being performed and expressed. It's very relevant.
I get it, but jazz has become an elevator music kind of thing. Right? So
But yeah, because nobody really cared for it until black people started getting into rap more and less into jazz.
Yeah.
Then they lost the hold on it, and then white people sort of adopted it as their high elite art that they consume. And right now it is somewhere in between. The black movies are getting them back, and you can. I recently saw a film called Really Love, and usme the whole sound design background music is jazz, and it's very modern, because that's why people lost interest, because it was very 70s, 80s, 90s, right? अगर Stevie Wonder के बाद nobody kind of made people listen and watch jazz. Like the modern audiences don't have any.
I think my one of my father's most favorite songs is this one. New Year's Day. I mean, he loves that song. So yeah, I think jazz is it's a very bygone era.
I think
it's also misrepresented a bit. Jazz.
I think
recently,
recently, there was this film called Soul, right? That dealt with jazz music.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
The whole thing was. I think it is finding its ground slowly. I have seen a lot of things being done with jazz and the way it is being interpreted in 2020 and 2021. So yeah, I still think it's finding its way back, sort of.
Yeah. So continue, Akshay.
I can just add one thing. I just to what Arvind said about jazz. I remember in when I was in my school, we had our West music competition, and our teacher had made a stipulation that all instrumentals has to be jazz. So anything boogie woogie or blues, or it has to be within the genre of jazz. And I was so excited. Yes. This is real music.
One second.
Yeah.
Let me just excuse this.
Arvind, what's going on? Arvind has just very enigmatic energy. You can't really predict Arvind.
Yeah, I can see that.
even during phone calls. Dude, this actually Arvind is very innocent, I think. Yeah, he's too pure for the world, I think.
Probably.
Because I've seen Arvind operate in life, like during Mami, and फिर मेरे साथ रह भी रहा था. This guy is very खुदगर्ज टाइप का इंसान है. पहली बात तो खुदगर्ज लोग तो पहले ही काफी सेल्फ अवेयर होते हैं. They want to deal everything on their own, and that's how they operate. And Mr. Arvind,
sorry guys, just Janmashtami things. So happy Janmashtami for the believers.
May God bless us, if there is a God.
Don't be so cynical.
नहीं मैं तो
Don't say
romantic
if there is no God.
मतलब in life we should be cynical a bit यार. Romantic cinema romanticism तो बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ गया है. You,
Oh, what happened?
you need.
You're an atheist or agnostic, Akshay?
I'm agnostic.
Ah, me too. What about you, Arvind?
No, yeah, I am agnostic. Like, I
Okay.
mean, the thing is, not before, like 2 years back, if you ask me, I'd say I'm spontaneous or something like that. But since religion gives certain people a moral center, so it's like, even if it's imaginary, at least there is some amount of good in it. There's bad and good. Like just like science, there's bad and good. So,
Yeah.
like I think taking it with a pinch of salt is.
Yeah,
best
of course.
way. So I'm agnostic.
Yeah. Whatever works for a person and doesn't lead to
सबका अपना अपना आइडेंटिटी क्राइसिस है.
disharmony.
जुड़ जाओ जिसके साथ जुड़ना है.
Absolutely. So,
Sasha ji,
साशा जी, ठीक है.
अपनी
Let's go. So
story बताइए.
I really think this cinema thing has to do with me watching films with my mother on a Sunday. ठीक है. Every Sunday there used to be films on Doordarshan, right? And I had an off. My mother being a teacher, she also had an off day. And I used to live with my mother away from my father because my father had a job 1,000 kilometers away and my mother had a job 1,000 kilometers away. So I used to live with my mother and we used to just watch two or three films every Sunday. I didn't really thought of it anything. I didn't really think of it. Then I was in boarding school. So 5वीं से 12वीं में I was the guy who like had all the DVDs and I was the go-to guy because I used to just the Sunday program was somewhat decided by me and my friends and what we'll watch. So I consumed all the Hollywood possible during that time. And I have seen Terminator 2, I think for 50 to 20 times, and it still remains one of the finest films I've seen. But dude, I'm not able to hear you guys.
yeah, we're listening. We're listening. Keep
Yeah,
listening.
I'm muted to avoid any
Acha,
disturbance.
that's great. Dude, I felt very isolated.
No.
So yeah, then this thing, dude, I was not sure of anything. The people started deciding, I'll do this, I'll become an engineer, I'll become a doctor, I'll do this. And somebody wanted to, and everybody being in a boarding school, there's a lot of competitive environment that you grow in. So, and I didn't really study anything in 11th, 12th. I was just painting. I think I was totally lost in sketching, drawing, painting stuff. And I became obsessed with art and stuff. Like movies or art, sure. And then I think I decided कि let's do fine arts. But it didn't really work out because merit वाला लौंडा है तो science करा. So then I decided Akshit, if we're going to do something, it's important that I go in a city which has culture, exposure, and which will somehow challenge as well as give me some opportunities. So then the goal was to go to Pune, not to do engineering in Pune. Engineering was just an excuse. Let's we're changing cities because if this is the only option to do, then let's go. And within the first 6 months, I was very clear that it's very easy to become an engineer. And I scored distinction. I said, I'm not interested because I enjoyed the car making part of it and the mechanical part of it. But I saw that we don't really have access to resources and our syllabus is not also very updated. So it didn't really interest me to become a mechanical engineer as such. But I was confused. I continued watching movies, right? I don't have any idea what to do with life. Then I thought, अच्छा UPSC बहुत सही चीज है because you can change the world. I wanted to change the world.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, like no, given the situation we are in today and the news I saw yesterday or day before.
Yeah.
I think this really goes against your.
That's why I left UPSC. The moment the 2014 government came in, it was a very big shock to me. And I said, "Okay, life के 10 साल तो बर्बाद हो जाएंगे अगर." Because from 2012 to till 2016, I was preparing for UPSC, right? So I knew everything. I was studying everything. I had a lot of reserve in my head. because I was reading a lot. I suddenly got into a lot of non-fiction and a lot of fiction which was related with the world and India, and I suddenly my mind was full of ideas because I was also part of few clubs and we were just discussing random things, global importance, Indian importance, historical, geographical, scientific, all kind of discussions were going on, and I was very aware, and but I enjoyed the study part of it. Okay, but some
Okay.
and I used to watch the whole Oscar week in PVR. And during the college, I consumed. I think I consumed all world cinema during college. Okay, engineering में तो world cinema TV series छोड़ के कुछ नहीं किया है. So I was very aware of what's going on actually and what is cinema and all that. I had read cinema theories and few books and stuff. So I was very aware of things, cinema as well as the world and the kind of books that I was reading. They talked about everything. So then, in 2016, I thought it's not working. Okay, I found the study becoming monotonous because it was 5-6 years of same things, but certain additions, certain new books. But I got bored and it hit me, ki, dude, I still don't know what I want to do with my life, and I didn't want to change the world anymore. I had a conscious awareness ki, I think cinema is the thing. So I just left it. I left UPC, I came back home. I had a 3-month introspection and decided, yeah, you should become a filmmaker. Because anyways, I used to write poems and stuff during college and it continued. And I thought the only way to survive or express was through cinema. So yeah, that just happened. I was offered a job and I took it and then I left it, and it all happened very fast and very quick. And then of course came to Bombay. अभी फिर पेंडेमिक आ गया. बॉम्बे के बाद पेंडेमिक आ गया.
I
Yeah.
think, like, yeah, I think so. Everyone who wants to become a filmmaker at one point of time writes poems and stuff.
I think everyone who wants to become a
like,
filmmaker should prepare for
even
UPSC. Matlab, you become the man you sort of want to be because you have this whole experience of what is the world and why is the world.
You feel like Nayak, Anil Kapoor.
सब कुछ पढ़ना पड़ता है, एरिस्टोटल, सोक्रेटिस से लेके एथिक्स से लेके हिस्ट्री, ज्योग्राफी, साइंस. There's so much. You read World War I, World War II, and this Indian thing and why religion in ancient India is. I think it's brilliant. That sort of that gives you a lot.
I think that is actually nice. It's like a nice
Yeah.
way.
That's beautiful.
That's a nice connecting the dots kind of moment.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And what sort of filmmaker do you want to become?
I think I just want to make films that are like that are sort of should sort of like there should be a bit of surrealism, I feel, because like you just got to find the hyper real stuff in the real life, in the real world. And I just wanted to do that. I just want to find that kind of moment or that kind of story, that kind of like moments in my film. So
I mean,
I mean, because realism is too overrated, right? You see a lot of real stuff. Hello, can you hear me?
But
yeah. So should I repeat myself?
No, we got it. Like, of course, yeah.
So yeah,
I think
is what that.
Yeah, for me, I really love this. I love two genres. Like, so in general, genre films, the way everything is treated, and there's a lot to offer in terms of the narrative and so much at play that you have. And then also, I love dramas. So I would really want to make dramas. Then this genre film.
Okay. Yeah, I think my favorite is that like just like Ritik said, my window towards this more like serious cinema was Pulp Fiction. Like at that time you find it really serious. For example, like there's this shop in Tinagar. There's this whole like just like the Chor Bazaar kind of vibe it has. It's for pirated films. It's like a Chor Bazaar for pirated films. So it's such a bustling market with all the DVDs, and it's called Burma Bazaar, Chennai. Now it's defunct. So at that time, I used to look at every place, and they'll stack up like this 3-4 shelves of Pulp Fiction, just Pulp Fiction and Snatch and all these things. These were the kind of world films for me, you know.
Guy
But then when I started watching, when I started expanding, now I'm kind of inclined towards, the very loose kind of narrative of French cinema, the new age stuff. So I think that's what,
yeah,
sorry?
yeah. From this, I think I still haven't really gotten out of Bugman. That's why,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, I've only watched one Bergman film, Wild Strawberries, and I know it was good, but I think it hasn't impacted me as much as Breathless or
Dude,
Cold
it's
Force.
Bugman है भाई. Bugman को.
Yeah, I think I have to.
There's this.
But but yeah, sometimes sometimes you kind of feel like watching European cinemas, like going to a good museum. You can just watch it, but there's still a kind of separation. There's still a wall of separation between us and the subject and the viewer. Because it's not how Indians think and all, right? If you can, when you watch Fellini's films and all, it's not exactly how we talk and stuff like that. So I need to find out like the behavior that we associate with and things like that. That's why I'm taking a bit of time. I think I need to come out of my shell in these things. So yeah.
I sort of think I'll mix the Paolo Sorrentino top favorite filmmakers में से. So I think there's this mix of Agnes Varda, which I really love. So Agnes Varda,
Yeah.
Paolo Sorrentino, and Bergman. If we could find a mix of all these three people, that should be the film that I would want to make.
Yeah, I think like right now I don't really want to box. I don't know how to categorize this, but I just wanted to make sure that my films has that sort of that once in a thousand day situation, like once in a blue moon kind of situation, right? The most real thing, but it's like the hyper real and stuff like that. It happens, but I don't know whether it happens often. That kind of situation, I can make a story about that and things like that. So yeah, and also I think I need to know. Yeah, that's it. So, but right now, what I'm more thinking about visuals and stuff. Like recently, the one I made, I think it was like I was more concerned about the short version than about the story or character and stuff. So that is a bit of a concern for me. And I need to change.
Fellini बनेगा तू.
No, please. Fellini is like a
Hrithik?
Yeah, for me though, at the moment, what interests me the most is morality. How I'm obsessed. I've been obsessed with morality since some time. I mean, the idea of right and wrong, and with how our world is right now, where there is a form of radicalism happening, right-wing radicalism throughout the world, which is horrifying. But there's also this cancel culture, woke culture also happening. So it's very interesting to get into the nitty-gritties of understanding how virtues, how vices are seen by people, how different cultures, and the morality is something which really interests me, and I want to delve into. That's why I like anti-heroes, or shows like Sopranos or The Wire, or Breaking Bad, or films like Pulp Fiction, or so these things, and I like Akshay, I like genre films a lot. I really love the storytelling in genre films, and I'm not averse to any genre personally too. Yeah. You're saying something?
Sorry, it was my sister. Yeah.
Acha. Yeah, so for me, I really enjoy genre films, especially black comedies, because I feel black comedies give a lot of insight into multiple issues of society. Where somewhere I've seen black comedies are able to, for me, are able to give a better worldview. Because of the nature of black comedies. So, and of course, lately I've been obsessed with how language and sexuality is used in cinema. I really want to get into that. And I think regarding sexuality, maybe it's got to do with being an Indian, because how sexuality is treated, and I think because of how I managed to break away from the ignorance a little early on because of cinema itself. So I've been interested in that, and and because I think in our country especially, erotic films, for example, are seen as, in the same category as blue films, and I really engage with such, even it's a little dark and uncomfortable, and I don't get affected by it as much as other people. I mean, in the sense that I don't get disturbed so much. So I really love that, and I've been reading a lot because of that. And so I was saying that, yeah, I was saying, I think especially films like erotic films and all are treated
But there's a lot of
under the category of, yeah.
subtext mein you can do anything. Like there's
Exactly.
no
Exactly.
there's no limit.
There's so much to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all of these kind of tie into that idea of morality for me. So that, and yeah, so that
That's
is
why
something I really want to. And language, yeah.
That's why I think almost my films are allegorical. Like 3-4 shots में से दो तो allegorically रखा है मैंने, because
Even
being
your vlogs are allegorical.
yeah, because being in India you cannot say stuff very directly, and
Yeah.
I love the way Yorgos does his films. Yorgos Lanthimos और फिर जो German films है
Oh my God. Yorgos Lanthimos, like,
is
I don't know, he made me very queasy, when I saw that killing of a sacred hero.
Oh, I
It's
loved
like,
it.
the way that it's like, I don't know,
Dude,
the whole
he's the
climax.
best. I don't think anybody is at the game at he is right now. Yeah. I love allegories and the way you can do anything within the structure of it. So I would want to make every film as an allegory, but yeah, but there's so much that you can do, man. Like if you can really pull it off, it's the most beautiful. That's what David Lynch does. That's what Lanthimos kind of does. Like you can say anything about society and only few people will get it. But if it's fun, everybody will sort of get it. Allegories,
The thing is,
genre films के बाद allegories, हाँ.
the thing about allegories is that it's up to the viewer's mind to decide what kind of meaning. So there's so there won't be any room for a direct context, a direct text. So,
but do you really think people understand even the basic simple film that you think this is the way I want to tell, this is what I wanted to say?
The thing is, like, in my opinion, the thing is, if the filmmaker prepares his audience to such kind of a storytelling, I think they can, because like there are certain filmmakers in Tamil where like they don't really make films that are that really operate in the real world. It does like there's certain elements of it does, but it's like he has his own alternate universe of the same city or something. So I think that filmmaker has been preparing his audience ever since his debut or second film.
Dude.
So he has set the expectations that look, this is what you can expect when you come to my film.
But it happens.
So automatically, the audience starts to think that way. So that's why.
Any kind of film you make, within 10 minutes, the audience is very clear what am I being set up for. अभी मनी कॉल ने जो फिल्म बनाई है, so it's all, a lot of his stuff is allegorical, man.
Yeah, the thing is, like, for example, for me, but an entirely allegorical film doesn't really work for me. I saw this film called Om Dar Badar. I was waiting for like years to watch this film because let me tell you a story. So it was supposed to release in Chennai during Jan 2014, I guess. So there's this one. There was this one, like, PVR does this thing called Director's Rare.
Yeah.
During 2013 and 2014 and stuff, where they used to screen indie films and all the old indies and stuff, the cult films and stuff like that. So Om Dar Badar was one of these titles, and it didn't release in Chennai, and I never heard of that film after that. It didn't release because of Pongal, which is very, very huge. Pongal is a very Pongal release is a very big thing in Tamil Nadu. So it didn't release because of that. And after 4 years, I saw that film. I was completely disappointed because I don't know whether it was a coherent film or not. So I think forgive my lack of intelligence or anything, but I didn't find that film to be very enticing. I think it should be a I feel that film should have some amount of mainstream stuff in it. And then why don't you just give it on a platter of mainstream. That's what I feel.
But फिर Om Darabadar nahi bajti na.
Yeah, but I think like like I kind of enjoyed Tarkovsky's film because like when I saw Stalker, there was this one scene, there was whole chase scene. Like there are certain moments that were like that really kept you, somewhat engaged and somewhat like that. You're gonna find some kind of coherence and synergy between the scenes. And so yeah, that's what I feel. Like symbolism is fine, but I don't know whether it should be too indulgent, for the viewer to like be alienated. So that's what.
But Tarkovsky ka toh, dude, after his first 4-5 films, everything is very existential and indulgent. You cannot watch
Okay.
most of the films.
Yeah. Okay, I should go dig deeper into Tarkovsky's films.
Yeah, man. Like
For Tarkovsky, I have to prepare my mind.
Yeah,
to
man.
prepare myself to watch Tarkovsky. Otherwise, I remember I saw when I saw Sacrifice and
Dude.
Mirror, those two films. It went. I couldn't follow what's happening.
पहली
was
बार
so
में तो
much-
समझ में नहीं आता. वो तो एलिगोरी भी नहीं, कुछ और ही बना रहा है भाई वो. He has
हाँ.
so many things, themes and subtext at play. Because at least in an allegory, there's a theme which is holding the story together. These are thematic elements which are saying some things which is sort of interpreted through the world which was set up. In allegories, there's a particular world where things happen. But in the Tarkovsky film, there's no idea of this world and the characters and this world. He's playing with everything around the world and he's commenting about everything, the society, and there's so many layers, man. So
Nostalgia. I remember when I was watching Nostalgia, usme where I'm getting accustomed to this being slightly metaphysical and the style being slightly metaphysical and expressionistic, suddenly cuts to sudden realism. So I get so disoriented with what's happening. I mean, I thought things are supposed to be this one way.
Dude, Sacrifice could have been produced by Ekta Kapoor. Itna melodrama उसमें.
हाँ भाई.
And he take so many liberties with the way characters do stuff and speak stuff, and everything is very high. Arvind, mainstream, it's a very difficult thing. So Yorgos Lanthimos doesn't have anything about, like, his films are not mainstream, but he sort of commands your attention.
No.
That is what I'm saying. Like
if
the kind of sorry. Yeah, there is like there's a conflict and there is.
I think this could be concluded if you can make stuff which is relevant to the things which are happening, which is what Yorgos did with The Favorite, and then apna Lobster, and before that Killing of Sacred Deer. Everything is very relevant to the world right now, which is beautiful, right? Allegory में direct क्यों बात करना है? I think there's a lot of independence, right? You can do so many things, but it's just beautiful in terms of what you're trying to say.
Exactly.
You can itna narrative liberty simple stories में नहीं ले सकते, which are oriented in a particular direction, and there has to be a plot. There has to be some kind of very homogeneous environment around them. It has to feel very relatable. Right, so it doesn't elevate beyond what is being said, right?
Yeah, 1 second. Like the thing is, like I've seen 2 of his. I haven't seen Dogtooth yet. I've seen like Favorite and Sacred Deer. So the thing is, he at least in character, like the way they react, he puts them in very awkward situations and things like that. So, but most of the art films, they really invest in they invest too much in the visual, I feel. Like, like creating a mood for a scene, or creating something like dreamy, something like that.
His American films are slightly more accessible than his Greek films. Alps and Dogtooth, it's exactly what you're saying. Very visual, and you take a little time to get into the world. It's less language and more visual.
Because the world is heading towards everything being spoon-fed to you, I think it's better to not understand and to just watch something.
Yeah, I think I should break my conditioning right now. So, yeah, I'm trying to watch films like this movie was very difficult to stand
Because
up. So called.
मेरे साथ ऐसा हुआ था कि when I started writing screenplay seriously, so I used to focus on dialogues a lot, and I used to really like check the energy of the scene, and everything was very plot driven and situation driven, and everything was very consequential to the beat of the scene. But it sort of feels very artificial, right? Or even it feels like it is set up. People can read, acha, this is why this is happening. You lose certain urgency and certain natural organic vibe of the scene, which sort of comes off in these allegories, the way some they say what Nadav Lapid is doing and what apna Quentin Dupieux is doing. It's very offbeat, but it's also very mainstream in terms of excess. I don't know if I'm making my point, but that is sort of the direction which should be taken.
Yeah, you're saying like a middle of the road kind of film.
हाँ मतलब in these 3-4 ideologies, or the way these 3-4 films are being consumed by people in festivals as well as theaters, because
Yeah, I think
we don't have much to offer in terms of narrative beyond the usual.
yeah, I think like people, yeah, that's why mainstream has tend to become very repetitive.
Yeah,
Because they just taking the same plot over and over again, and
now
they're just trying to
dude,
present it in different ways.
you can take Jordan Peele's example, Get Out. It is an allegory, right? It is an allegorical film, but it is presented as a thriller, and everybody sort of liked it. Now every second horror film is a Jordan Peele Get Out.
Yeah,
So that's what.
yeah, that's social. Like he created
Yeah.
that sort of Rosemary's Baby kind of
Yeah.
social horror.
Social
content, and he
commentary
made
with
it.
it was allegorical. That's for white people loved the film. It wasn't saying everything directly in their faces. It wasn't a proper drama plot driven thriller. It was an allegorical film where there's a world where characters are being fed with certain situation, and things are happening, and you get to a point. That's
Yeah,
what
there was an urgency.
that's what will happen with us if we do those kind of films, because mainstream changes with someone bringing a very different vibe which feels very urgent and attention. जैसे नदाव लपीद और क्वेंटिन डुपियो की फिल्म देखेगा, they run wild. Both of those filmmakers are extremely different from what's going on in Europe.
Yeah. Quentin Dupieux and then
Nadav Lapid.
Okay,
I don't know if you have
okay,
seen-
fine. I can.
And both of the film dabble in comedy as well as thriller as well as drama. Like so, and they are very about life, what's happening in the society. So I think very rare. The way Jordan Peele changed the whole Hollywood landscape and made everybody talk about class and race and stuff. We'll have to do the same with us, and the way our movies are not actually talking. Because allegory or a thriller really offers, or a genre film offers that plate wherein you can just serve all those things, and people will find it funny as well as they'll have to think about it. Sairat was an allegory, right? It wasn't the film that
Sairat.
sort of, man.
No, I think to an extent, I think Jallikattu was that sort of.
Yeah, Jallikattu, the totally, man. It's through and through. It's an allegory. It's constantly
Yeah,
talking about
yeah.
people and themes. There are so many themes at play. But because Sairat, you sort of know this is a trap every time. Every time he raises your consciousness. Ki, "Achha nahi, is this right? Is this wrong?"
No, I think the thing about Sairat that I really enjoyed was that they tried to make a mainstream, very like mainstream Bollywood film, a page or like very mainstream film with faces that with faces that are very real. Usually such films are made with
That's the whole
someone
thing,
who's
right?
very so that
was
I
the
really
bait.
enjoyed.
That
is
was the
something
bait. That was a trap.
yeah.
That's a beautiful mouse
Yeah.
trap. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think I've seen this one film called Bhavni Bhavai by Ketan Mehta. That film also kind of discusses casteism, but under the garb of a very like very slapstick kind of humor. So that one's there. And the other film I felt had this allegorical tale in the form of under the garb of the comedy was this one film called Panchavadi Palam by KG George. It's a movie. So I don't know whether it's still there, but there's this one film called Panchavadi Palam by KG George. And anyway, everyone who doesn't know KG George, you got to check out his films. Like you should check out this. There's this one film called Yavanika on Hotstar. So you
And
guys should check out that.
this is off the tangent, but I really
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, yeah, let it be allegorical, but you gotta, if you're trying to tell a message or something, make it like a comedy. That's what I'm saying. Comedy can be
Dude,
more accessible.
I have the perfect film for you, dude. Just watch Godard's Weekend. Okay? If that's your
Yeah,
kind of
even
allegory.
even
Comedy.
in Get Out, even Get Out, like there are certain moments of very wild humor and stuff like that. You're just looking at that whole party scene was like it was very oddly sort of there was very comic energy to it, like very satirical stuff energy to it. So that's what like that is something which I feel strongly about because like you're just it's kind of like being indulgent means you're just the director's just caring about himself.
लेकिन
So
इतना
that's
टेंशन क्यों लेने का इंटेलिजेंस पर एटलीस्ट मतलब आई थिंक एलिगोरीज इज अ ब्यूटीफुल वे टू deconstruct a lot of
yeah. Yeah, I think yeah, it's like
this is genre films offer you so many tools. Same goes with allegories.
sorry.
The way genre film is a beautiful tool to deal with all the themes that you want to deal with in a single film. Allegorical films also have the similar possibilities. You pick a theme, you pick a world, and then you decide. Then there's a beautiful sort of harmony to the way things are happening because there has to be a rule book for an allegorical film. Only certain things happen because then the film doesn't make sense. Look, we really have to discuss. We should do Yorgos Lanthimos filmography and
Yeah, I think yeah, absolutely.
we should
Totally.
do.
I think
Yeah, man.
I really have to watch his other films, Dogtooth and Alps, and there's one film called Kineta, I guess. I should watch those three films.
That film, कैसा film है वो, dude. I still don't know how he got into Cannes with Kenyatta.
Yeah, have you seen
what-
Nimic?
Huh?
Saw Nimic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a very strange shot.
Very strange. Yeah, completely strange. Yeah, you have to read about. अच्छा, ये बोल रहा है, अच्छा, Vulture says this, IndieWire says this. Nimic was very. Nimic
Yeah,
was.
it was like this. It felt like this home invasion kind of.
Yeah, but yeah, sort of keep different identities of same family, and he wanted to play with that. और क्या है, Ritik? What else should we discuss?
और क्या कर सकते हैं?
We covered two things: why we became why we filmmakers, and then
What kind of
sort of films we want to make, and what should we end it with?
Some of our favorite films maybe.
Yeah, I think Fears and Memory maybe.
और Memory, yeah, वो भी अच्छा है.
क्या?
Fears, yeah.
Favorite memories?
Memory.
Yeah, movie memories, film memories. Yeah, is it like are you okay with it, Akshay?
Yes, completely. Yeah, because कितना list film करेगा, ये मेरा favorite है, ये मेरा favorite है.
Yeah, because everyone has they just have a secret pile of trash films hidden under all these intellectual stuff. So let us talk about that first.
Personally, I'm completely fine with in my mind some of the films are considered slight trash. In film intellectuals, I'm okay with sharing those. Because for me, I've changed how I view cinema. I personally don't have any of these guilty pleasures. So for me, I focused on why I like the film. That's more important to me rather than just
Absolutely.
So
yeah, I think I mean like recently at this time during this pandemic times I really kind of veer towards melodrama and kind of that films that really makes you kind of fuzzy and stuff like that. So right now I'm really obsessed with this two films. There's this one film called Happiest Season. It's by Clea Duvall. So Clea Duvall she played she played Naomi Watts' sister in 21 Grams. So I think she did a fabulous job in Beef. Uh, I think she.
I really like the
that
film. बहुत अच्छा film था.
That film was a very Christmas film sort of thing. Like there are very rough edges, and the film it was a very kind of it was very stagey.
But it
film,
was that
but
kind of
still,
film, man. You cannot. मतलब, these are
yeah,
not criticism. It
yeah.
was
But
that
the
kind of
thing
film.
is, yeah. But the thing about that film is that like we all faced with this whole thing of being inhibited, and I think that was very relatable for me. That was inhibition. The film is about a woman who is in a lesbian relationship, but she's afraid of coming out of the closet so in front of her family, and she plans to do it during Christmas season, a very sort of very godly, very religious
Conservative,
kind
yeah.
of time. So yeah, I think like doing all these kind of stuff within the like within a very traditional and within a very kind of like very old, very archaic genre like a Christmas film is very it was very good. And yeah, I think there were certain moments I really enjoyed.
I,
That film, and then I really love this film called The Intern. So I've seen
which
this like 6 times during the pandemic.
Which film?
Intern, The Intern,
Oh,
the Robert De
Robert
Niro
De
film.
Niro. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I really enjoy that film. I really like how there's this one grandpa who comes and magically changes stuff like that, the magical grandpa kind of thing. So that was really good. And yeah, I mean, like right now I'm really into this feel good kind of film, like just a film that really you don't have to think so much, you don't have to engage so much of your brains. So, yep.
Beanpole will hit you like a train.
Yeah.
Bean, when you're into feel good right now.
Okay. Let me watch Beanpole first. Okay. Yeah. Like right now, I can digest all this dark stuff right now. So let me watch Beanpole.
हाँ मेरा बता रहा हूँ मैं.
I think it's because I just had my first shot, so I'm like I feel like it's fine. I'm a safer place. Let us watch this. Yeah. What about you, Akshay?
My favorite memory, like
Right, like no, not of movie memory. Sorry, like I think we should. Since I didn't talk about movie memories.
but
Sorry,
you,
I just completely went off.
ठीक है
Yeah.
करने नहीं, कर दे.
So should I start? Okay, fine.
Yeah,
The movie memory is that since Akshay talked about how he was, he and his mom saw Doordarshan during this childhood. But it was a similar childhood for me too, because till there was this phase where I was very much into WWE, and then they said, see, this kid is becoming violent because of WWE. So let us just put Doordarshan in place, Doordarshan and television. So I watched all these, very old black and white films. As in this Chitrahar, like in Chitrahar, the thing is, there's a Tamil version of Chitrahar, where they show Tamil films with that same format. And it was so beautiful, like where the host just very eloquently talks about a scene. She describes the scene, she describes the subtext of the scene, because if we normally see that film, we won't really get that sort of a perspective. So there's this one person who gives you perspective about the scene, and then she kind of like, you kind of watch that scene, and that's when I kind of like that is my initial introduction towards film criticism, that too. So I think, like that whole Chitrahar kind of a format was very interesting for me at that time.
It was an important impression in your mind at that age, because it really pushed you ki, acha, thoughts.
Yeah, and like they kind of make you wait for that scene. They just give you a build, and they say what kind of emotions this actor conveys, and that kind of what kind of music plays out. And they just say that they build so much, and then you see that scene, and like 9 times out of 10, that scene matches their expectations. So that was a very great introduction. In Doordarshan, we used to watch most of those mainstream Hindi films like Munna Bhai and on the like
Dude,
Dil Chahta Hai and all this.
Fortunately,
please.
I don't have any idea of what went around in terms of Hindi cinema from 2001. मतलब मैं तो बच्चा था, तो वो तो छोड़ ही दे तू. 1994 से 2012 तक I don't really have any idea of what went in Hindi cinema. And because boarding school it was all Hollywood. Yeah, man.
What about Marathi? What about Marathi?
No, dude, I consumed everything in college. World cinema mein fir I had to consume a lot of Marathi cinema.
Okay. So yeah, these were my like introduction to cinema. It's from black and white, because I was very much removed from the kind of pop culture my peers and my friends used to have. So yeah, I think like I watched all the slow down kind of films at that time. So yeah, that was my introduction. And the thing is, they also show these kind of arty films, national organic films during Sunday nights. So yeah, I mean there are certain films I saw. I've seen this one. I don't know, like I don't remember, but it still gives you an impression. I've seen this. Yeah, I've seen this Shaji and Karun's Piravi in Doordarshan National, like DD National, like Sunday night. So that gave me an impression, and it's kind of like you have like we don't even like even our movie viewing is that we just go to 3 films per year. Not till 2014, it was just that was a routine because and we used to like they are so we are starving for films that every film that we come across we just kind of like have this kind of like we retain in our mind we retain those scenes and moments of that film in our mind. So that was what kind of like drew me towards films. So yeah.
Mine is simple. I have this favorite memory of watching Lijo Pelicilli's Imayao at a theater. I have never experienced what I experienced. So it's a very atmospheric film in itself. And the way the sound is in Jitesh Pillai, क्या sound design है यार उसका मतलब.
No, yeah, I think the sound design for Ranganath Ravi, I guess.
I think both of them worked on it. So he did the sound. Prashant Pillai did music and he did the sound. Ranganath Ravi. I was just even after the film was over, the credits were over, I was at my seat and I have never really experienced that sort of divine feeling. This is cinema. Extremely emotional, but very divine. Isn't it? Felt poetic. Really, what people say, yeah, cinema can be poetic. It really felt. Like the both, and coming to a lot of stuff that we have watched in pandemic, I'm really obsessed with time loop. I've already written a few episodes. I really want to do a web series or a film because I've seen Groundhog Day a lot, and then I recently saw Palm Springs. So I sort of, I'm very obsessed with time loop situation because, dude, it's so much that you can do with life and stuff and existence and.
Yeah, there's a one Oscar nominated short film, right?
वो तो है.
Yeah, that was a very interesting time.
Very interesting.
That guy just wakes up from his girlfriend's house and he goes to.
Yeah.
So he meets a cop and that one, I don't remember its name. But it's on Netflix. Please check it out.
What I realized watching these time loop films was, okay, you get to set up your own world and your own rules, and then you get to bring everything that you feel good or bad about, right? बहुत clear है कि ठीक है देखो you like these things, you put these, you like these things are bad. It's as simple as we haven't really gotten a chance to do these things, so let's make our protagonist.
Yeah, I think yeah, sure. Please continue. Sorry.
So I think I would really want to do a time loop film as soon as possible. Yeah,
I mean, like there's this one film called Game Over, and
yeah,
that was a fun.
That was one fun thing, yeah. Ritik,
over to you.
Favorite memory, right? Favorite. I think my favorite memory would be, again, as I said, watching Dark Knight when I was in 6th standard. I mean, I saw it in the theater. I was the only person among my friends who watched it in the theater, and I was blown away.
One second.
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting. Watching Dark Knight on a 35mm print or IMAX is just it's like a dream come true for many a cinephile. So I think I'm kind of jealous of you right now. So yeah, please.
Uh, yeah, man. I mean, I remember I was blown. I was very young. I was in fifth standard that time. I saw the first day first show, and I think somewhere that kind of film has because it's an American film, and I'm still obsessed with American cinema. Even though I see problems, I have to watch American films because there's some affiliation to that, and so because I think because of the language, I love English as a language, so I really like to read English fiction, non-fiction,
Table
and
come talk.
see how. So, so I really like to watch and listen to people talk, and I think somewhere Dark Knight because it had so complex philosophies with the way Joker spoke and all, and generally the upbeat the nature of the storytelling, I and have never been forget that feeling. And I don't think any other film has been able to match that high.
Complexities of both the characters.
Yeah.
Even the hero
Yeah.
is grey and the villain is grey.
But that time it was not. I would not say I interpreted because I was very young, but it was just something I hadn't seen ever. So and of course over the years I realized that and I was obsessed with it. But and and I've always been a comic book fan. So somewhere Batman has been a very interesting or Joker. So these characters still stay with me. And even now I regularly have to watch my own quota of American films. To no matter how much I love Godard's films now or Tarkovsky but I need to watch those American films, be it romantic. Yes, I think yesterday only I watched When Harry Met Sally. So,
Yeah.
That was lovely.
loved it so much. I mean, such a charming film, and I I forgot about the troubles of life in those 90 minutes. So,
Dude, yeah. Love American comedies and dramas.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it got to do
वो
with
जो
the
film grammar है.
comedies. Yeah. I just want to add, like regarding comedy, I think it's also got to do romantic comedies in particular. It's got to do with New York and the spring, the beautiful clothes, and even something like Harry Met Sally, where they're not exactly in that standards of American beauty, but still one I really love to watch those things, and it has somewhere ruined my my life in a way because I have this constant dilemma that I'm an Indian filmmaker who wants to deal with Indian problems, but then I also love American cinema and I want to work, abroad. So I'm always questioning my place of mission. So,
Yeah, the thing about like most of the international romantic comedies is that it's just about a boy and a girl, and that no one comes in between. Rarely. So whereas in India, you just have families and you have friends, and it's like it's very overpopulated. Just like our country, even our romantic comedies are very overpopulated.
लेकिन we have.
That might be.
I watched. So I was. There was a period of time I wanted to rewatch some old Bollywood films just to see what's the problem with the way how I have interpreted them. And I saw Hum Tum, which is a remake of When Harry Met Sally.
Yeah.
And I remember I had the memory of Hum Tum being a very charming film. So I was excited. Let's see what's happening. And I could not stand the film. That thing, that overpopulation, that tradition, like they I mean it was so frustrating. I just couldn't watch it. So the way they spoke, the way they I couldn't stand it.
Yeah, even I felt like I thought after watching Dil Chahta Hai, I thought like those wrong the whole modern Hindi film that period would be kind of like very progressive and stuff like very like there would be less flabby and things like that. But then I saw Kal Ho Na Ho, and I couldn't stand that whole family scenes and that whole Preeti Zinta's family sequences and all. I just switched it off within half an hour. But there are many people, my friends from North, who really find Kal Ho Na Ho to be a very personal experience. So that's kind of like it might be some kind of a regional issue, I guess.
Probably, yeah. I don't find it a personal experience, but I like watching the film. I enjoy it. But I can't stand their Indian thing. That I mean, because Indian films have had this right since the 90s. That Mera Desh Mahan. I mean, they'll shoot everything abroad. Everything is from America and England, and then they'll shoehorn that.
It's just to milk that NRI sentiment.
Yeah, exactly.
Roots, हमारे roots.
See, the thing is, like, it's a very superficial way to look at our roots, right? Instead of having a sort of
लेकिन उनका टारगेट ऑडियंस वो है ना, the target audience is that. So it's made for an audience. It's a
Yeah.
package. It's an ad being served for.
It's best of both worlds. Live
Yeah.
abroad because India is not a good place to live, but then be an Indian abroad. So
Yeah.
being Indian abroad is like, it's a very,
It's
yeah,
the perfect
it's
dream. You don't have to have an identity nor an ideology. You just go with the wind.
yeah.
सही है
I
भाई.
mean, I'll take it in a second to be honest, but
But
I'll take time. Yeah, bro.
लेकिन फिर वही मजा नहीं आएगा लाइफ में. There's मतलब India is so diverse, man. The way everything functions, not just languages of people, the way the world is functioning. It's very diverse. Dude, why have we frozen? We both of you guys are frozen, man.